Howdy, ma'am. Ma'am, step down.
Surely stranger, step down.
Hope you have some luck with that well.
Yeah, so do I.
Ma'am, I don't want to bother you none, but I wonder if you could spare a little of that water over there for me and my old pony here. We've been riding dry since yesterday.
We're down to just a few inches now. Hardly enough left for a week. Well, less than a week. But I can't turn you away, though.
Thank you, ma'am. There's them that could. Came by several ranches this morning. They have any more water in their tanks than you got in yours, they turned me down.
Well, I'm sure they didn't want to. Please don't blame them.
I don't blame them, ma'am. I'll tell you, as long as I've been riding through this flat country, I ain't never seen it this dry. It's bad. Real bad.
Well, look, you take what you need for you and your horse. But please, be sparing.
Thank you, ma'am. We sure will.
The well is caved in. It's covering Dad. The sand's covering him.
Jason!
Hang on. Look at it. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's gonna bury you two. It ain't gonna bury nobody. You just hang on. Lady, send me down a rope and a hook. Hurry. Just hang on for a minute. You may have some busted ribs there, mister. Okay, little girl. Take the end of that rope and go out there and throw a dolly over that saddle horn of mine. Jump up on the horse and make him back up for you. He'll back up real good. Hurry. Hurry. Lay your white ribs. Pull him all the way. He's the doggone stubbornest man I ever run into, Cole. He's gonna be out there digging in that well again before the week's out.
A lot of good men down in the flatlands. They're sure gonna have a rough time of it.
That's for sure. If they don't get water down there pretty soon, there ain't gonna be a head of livestock left. No humans neither.
Well, this fella Ganther's only got a few head of cattle. Why don't we let him move them up on the Ponderosa, at least till the drought's over? That shouldn't be any trouble.
Afraid you're wrong. It means big trouble.
Then why's that?
Well, last time I was in town, I heard the people talking. They're worried. Really worried. I think there's going to be a mass migration from the flatlands. All those families, hundreds of them. They're going to come right up into the high country and bring all their cattle with them. What's left.
I'm only talking about one family. I don't see what trouble that is.
Ain't no use in arguing, Joe. This Mr. Ganther, he just ain't the moving type. He's going to stay right down there on that place of his till he finds water or dies trying. Why, even when Miss Ganther's in there patching up his cracked ribs, he was trying to tell me something about an artesian well.
On a what?
An artesian well. Seemed like all you got to do is just dig a hole down to the water down through the earth, and when you once tap it, it'll just come busting out like a fountain or something. You ever hear of one, Paul?
Oh, yes, I've heard of them, but they're shallow wells. This part of the country, the water's about 100, maybe 200 feet deep. They wouldn't work around here.
Pa's right. I won't work any more than this auger is through this hard wood. Now I gotta sharpen that thing again.
Hey. Hey, wait a minute. Give me that thing a minute. Doggone it. Paul, I can do it with this. This auger will do it. You ain't got to have a big hole, just a little hole. Just big enough to let that water come busting up once you tap it. Doggone it, it'll work.
Are you loco? You can't drill a well with an auger.
Yeah, especially through 100 feet of earth.
Maybe that water ain't 100 feet down. What if it's only 40 or 50? I can do it, Adam. I can reach it with this auger.
Well, it's finally happened. The sun's fried his brain, so he doesn't make sense anymore.
Yes, I do make sense. And you'll see how much sense I make, too, once you see that water come busting up out of the ground.
Well, how are you going to keep the sand from pouring in after you pull the auger out?
I ain't gonna pull it out. I'll just keep adding steel to the top of it until I reach that water.
Oh, sure you will. Now, it's amazing what the sun will do to a man's head.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not saying this is going to work. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea at all, but if he wants to try it, give him a chance to help. When do you expect to ride down to the Ganthers again?
First thing in the morning, boy, if you'll let me have a wagon.
You can have one. You keep up your good work.
Ben again. I'm afraid it's just going to keep on doing that, Mr. Ganther.
We can unhook the top section and straighten it.
Done that 3 times and straightened the other a couple of times. Just ain't going to work, that's all.
But we can't stop now. I know the water's there. Just a few more feet and it'll come gushing up and fill the water tank.
Mr. Ganther, you've been saying that all week. I wish I could agree with you, but I can't. We can't push that thing down another foot. It just ain't going to work, that's all. Sometimes a man's just got to admit when he's licked.
Not my man, Mr. Cartwright.
If you just help me pull the shaft, I'll straighten it. I'll do all the work myself. If you just help me pull the shaft.
I'll help you, Daddy.
Now, Dad, Bernie, don't you go making me look bad. It ain't the work. I don't mind the work, Mr. Ganther. It just ain't going to work, that's all. The thing's going to keep twisting. Every time it does, the sand's going to run in there just like Adam said. I meant good, but it just ain't going to work.
We know you meant good, Hoss. I wasn't mean and bad.
You really think it's just be a couple more feet?
I not only think, I believe. For the sake of my family, I believe.
Hey, Pigtails. Where do you think you're going? Come on back over here and help me and your papa pull this thing out. We're going to straighten it out again.
Haven't seen you boys in a long time. Well, nice to have you visit. Come on, sit down, sit down.
Sorry we haven't got time for a real visit, Ben, but we've got a few more stops to make tonight.
Oh, you know my son Joseph, of
Yes,
course.
how are you,
Hello,
Joe?
Fine, how are you?
Well, what kind of stops are you talking about?
We're forming a vigilante group. We'd like to make you an officer. Like to sign on your boys, too. We need good guns.
What for?
We just got word from the flatlands. About a dozen families are gathering their cattle, getting ready to move up here into the highlands.
Yeah, I heard about that. They've been pretty hard hit by the drought. Well, we shouldn't have any trouble finding room for about a dozen families.
No, Ben. We can't. It'll just be the first of them. If they make it, dozens more will follow them. Maybe hundreds more. You know what that means.
Oh, Luther, what does that mean?
If we let them move in, they'll take over completely.
Well, what you say may be true, but, you can't stop a man from moving if his cattle are dying off and his land is burnt.
Now, we know there's no law against it. Well, he took it up with the sheriff before we formed the vigilantes.
What'd he say?
He said there was no law against them moving. If they try to settle on any man's land, he can evict them. That's all he can do. We've decided that's not enough.
Well, Luther's right. It's hard to evict a man. It's a lot easier just to keep them from moving in. You know that, Ben.
We all know it. And you folks here on the Ponderosa stand to lose more than anybody else.
So you're going to turn them back?
Well, yes, we are.
And suppose they won't turn back?
Well, then some of them are going to die.
Some of them are going to die. John, you talk as if these people were invading us from some foreign country. They've been having a rough time of it. The drought's hit them pretty hard. They're people, human beings, just like you and me. You're asking us to turn our guns against them?
That's what we're asking, Ben. And before you answer, let me warn you. We're going ahead, with or without your help.
Well then, gentlemen, I guess it'll have to be without my help. There's just one thing more that I'd like to say. The Ponderosa is our land, to do with as we see fit.
Well, how'd you make out with the brave vigilantes? Just fine. Sometimes I'm proud my name is Cartwright.
Adam, there's going to be a lot of serious trouble. All that energy wasted on talk of killing. Why can't people be constructive about things? At least Hoss is trying to find some kind of solution to that water problem.
Yeah, it's just too bad he doesn't have a better idea than trying to drill a well with an auger.
Wonder how he's doing.
How do you think he's doing? It's like you said, that sand's gonna pour back in that hole faster than he can drill it out. But you know, brother, always the hard way.
Yeah, sometimes he can be real stubborn.
Well, there's one thing I do know. If Luther Kent and his vigilante friends have their way, some good men are going to get killed.
Hey, wait a minute. Did you ever think maybe a gun had some kind of use other than killing?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Didn't we order some 3-inch pipe a few months ago?
Yeah, about 6 lengths. Going to pipe some water into the kitchen from the spring. Why?
Still around?
Yeah. Why?
I'm not quite sure.
Hey! My big brother, Adam, Pam.
Gee, he's not near as big as you.
Hey, Adam. Doggone, I'm glad to see you. Bring us some water, huh?
Yeah, a few barrels. Grab hold of the end of this pipe, will you?
What you doing with all that pipe? We ain't even got water yet.
So I notice. The auger isn't working, huh?
No, the son of a gun keeps twisting on us. Sand runs in there every time we pull it out. I don't know what we're going to do with it, Adam.
We'll soon take care of it.
Hey, Mr. Ganther, Miss Ganther. This here's my brother Adam. He brung you some fresh drinking water.
Well, how do you do, Adam? We sure can't use that water.
Glad to know you, ma'am. Miss Ganther?
Cartwright, I'm afraid we're not quite ready for pipe yet. We still have a couple of feet more to go before we hit water. I cleaned the sand from off the top of that shaft.
You got lock joints on the end of those shafts?
Yep.
Do you mind if I tap one of those barrels on the wagon? You see, it's been quite a while since any of us around here have had any sweet water.
Help yourself. There's plenty there. Any luck at all, we'll have water coming right up out of the ground.
Thank you. Lindy, come help me find a bucket.
Gee, the only time anybody remembers I'm here is when they want me to do something. Hi, I'm Lindy Ganther, and it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Linda. Mr. Ganther, I wonder if you could help us put the end of this pipe over that shaft down there, huh?
I'd be glad to, but why?
Well, I got the idea of cleaning my rifle. I think we'll save a little time if I just show you rather than try to explain it to you.
We better do it his way, Mr. Ganther. He's generally right in a situation like this.
Listen, you get that bent shaft straightened out over there. Get it over here, will you?
Yeah.
All right, heads up.
Easy.
You got it?
I got it.
There we go.
Easy.
Now just drop it over the end of the shaft down there. There she is. Yeah.
All right, now come on in.
All right.
Easy, does it? Easy. Yeah. Come on.
All right, Mr. Ganther. Lock that into place down there. Where's your crossbar?
Right here.
I still don't understand.
Well, it's a long chance, but it may work. You see, as the auger bites into the ground, it sends the coring up through the pipe. And then the pipe drops down lower and lower, and we kind of help it along by hitting it every once in a while with a hammer. And then we just keep adding new links of pipe, and New section's a shaft. Let's give it a try.
The board over.
Well, we may have to send a little water down that pipe. Not much, just enough to keep the corings wet.
It might work, Adam. Doggone it, you're still the brainiest one in the family.
Handsome too.
That's the nicest thing a young lady ever said to me. You're kind of pretty yourself.
Now, look here, Linda. I thought you were sweet on me. Why, he's 10 times too old for you. Of course, if you'll settle for me, I'll wait around for you for 8 or 10 years. Any neighbors of yours?
No. It's the Collins family. Bill and Fred and their wives. There are a couple of places about 20 miles east of here. They got even less water than we got.
Thought you might be better fixed for water than us, Jason. We were going to ask if we could water our stock. We won't.
I can spare a little. Enough to take you a couple of days. How far are you going?
Up to the high country.
What about your land? And all the years you put into it. You're just going to go away and leave it?
It's dying. Dead. Either we move or we die too.
It won't be long before the others will follow us. Ain't a family in the flatlands any better off than we are. How much longer you figure you'll last, Jason, with that puny little bit of water? A week? 2 weeks? You better make your move while your stock can still travel.
No, Ellen. This is my land. And I'm staying on it. And I'll tell you something else. There's water down there. A few more feet and it's waiting to gush up. It'll be all the water we need.
Folks have been saying that about the rain. Just a few more days and the drought will be over. The rain didn't come, Jason. Could be it never will come. Could be there ain't any water down in that hole either. But there is in the high country, and that's where we're going. Come on, Bill, get the cows ready. Look us up when you make your move. We'll have some kind of shelter built by then, and you'll be welcome to share it. Let's go.
What's going to happen?
As well as I do what's going to happen.
I'll get some more water.
Now we're down about 60 feet, Mr. Ganther. I think that water's further down than you thought.
It can't be much further. Just a few more turns and the water will spout into that pipe and it'll leap like a fountain up into the sky. It will. I tell you it will.
Well, we all been saying that for days now. And we could be wrong. What do you think, Hoss?
I don't know, Adam. I thought we'd hit water any minute. Nah, I just don't know.
It's got to be there. With all that runoff from the high country, it's been soaking into this ground for thousands and thousands of years. It has to be there.
I'm not going to argue that point with you, Mr. Ganther. The question is, just how far down is it? We only got a couple of pieces of pipe left and just a few sections of shaft. Even if we went down just 10 more feet, I don't think we could turn the auger. No, I think I'll ride on back and tell Pa what's that. I'm sure he'll find a place for you on the Ponderosa.
No, this is my land. And I'm going to stay.
Jason, you can't stay here if you can't find water. Or if we can't. What about it, Adam? You wanna just give up? Quit?
We'll go on down a few more feet, at least till we give out a pipe.
Keep pushing, big brothers. Come on, keep on pushing. You know, it's always nice to see a man using his back instead of his head.
Hi. Nobody tell you, but my name's Lindy Ganther.
How are you, Lindy? Nice to see you.
How long you been here?
Just long enough to see my brothers behaving like mules.
Anything the matter? Does Paul need us?
No, everything's fine.
What's all the talk about mules?
Well, we might as well talk about them. After all, you two are thinking like them. Go right ahead and push. Don't let me stop you.
You got any better ideas?
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah, now, come on, little brother. You tell us how we're going to get that auger down there to go round and round without somebody standing up here on top turning it round and round.
Well, even all the way back in Egypt, they knew enough to hook a long wooden arm onto their grindstones and let the oxen grind wheat. Just take down that frame, fix yourself up a walking beam, and let the horse drill the well.
Yeah. You know, it's such a simple idea. I'm surprised I didn't think of it.
It's funny, I'm not.
Don't you dare hurt him.
Wait a minute, Linda, honey. I didn't really hurt him. We play like that all the time, baby.
That's right. That's how he polishes his boots, dear.
All right, enough of this nonsense. Listen, I like your idea. But what we need is a real strong beam. I think maybe we can use one of those rafter poles over there on the shed. So you put away your horse, and we'll get started.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I don't build things like walking beams and things like that. I just do the plans. See, take that rig
brother,
down and...
There's plenty of work for everybody. We're all going to join in, so come along. Oh, don't you dare, Linda.
You put him down.
You really want me to put him down?
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Cartwright, I'm Jason Ganther.
Nice to see you. Pa sent some food. He figured Horace would have your cupboard cleaned out by now.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to meet your pa someday. He's raised 3 fine boys.
Thank you, sir.
Here, get that.
All right, give her a lift.
Okay.
See, we'll slot the main beam here. Make an iron collar for it. Then the weight of that steel shaft will move it up and down.
I like it. Let's build it. Austin, I'll take down the frame.
I'll give you a hand. Linda, you fire up the forge.
Oh, I'd love to.
What are you doing?
I was just trying to help.
Don't. Let me do it myself. Thank you.
Is what you want?
Huh? No. I want the little small hammer, little short one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get you the other hammer.
No. I'll get it. Just tell me where it is.
Right there.
Oh. Thanks. Will you leave that alone?
I'll get you the saw. I can saw real good.
I don't need anything sawed right now. I told you to leave that alone. Will you please leave it alone?
Oh, you burned yourself. Let me see it. I know what to do with burns. You put grease on them. I'll go get a bandage and bandage it up for you.
No, wait a minute. Why don't you find some tin soldiers and play with them?
Girls don't play with tin soldiers, and I'm a girl.
Yeah, well, you're also a nuisance. Now, if you leave me alone, later on, I'll cut you some paper dolls, all right?
Jason.
They turned us back. They had guns.
You knew that happened, didn't you?
I was afraid it would, but I thought they might get through.
Called themselves vigilantes, and they were guarding the roads that led to green grass and water. We were desperate enough to fight, but 2 men can't stand against 20 guns.
Did you try and talk to him?
We talked.
We pleaded with them and we begged. I saw my man drop down on his knees, and he ain't ever done that before, except to the Lord.
Where are your cattle?
Why bring them back to die? We turned them loose. At least up there, the cows will live. And we're going to live, too. We're going to gather every able man in the Low Country, 20, 50. I don't know how many, but they'll fight. Any man will fight before he lets his women and his children die.
Don't do it, mister. I'll meet you 3 to 1.
Then we'll kill 3 to our 1.
Well, it's no use, Hoss. You can't talk to a man who has nothing to lose.
They can lose their lives.
Somehow, I have a feeling that doesn't really matter to them right now.
Hear what they're gonna do? They'll try to fight their way through.
I heard him.
Well, what are we gonna do? Just stand here? I'm gonna go back to Ponderosa. Paul can stop them vigilantes.
No, he's tried, but they wouldn't listen to him.
Adam's right. Pa and I rode into town the day before I left. The vigilantes were having a meeting. I tried to talk to them, asked them not to block the road, and they wouldn't listen.
Well, what'd the sheriff say?
Told them they were wrong. They told him if he tried to interfere, they'd lock him in his own jail. You know how these things are. You're either with them or you're against them.
What'd Paul have to say about that?
He didn't have to say anything. They knew he was against them.
No sense in talking about it. Let's see if we can get down to that water. How's that walking beam coming along?
It's coming along. I'll get back to work. What are you doing with my gun?
I was just gonna clean it for you.
Didn't I tell you before to leave my things alone?
I won't come near you, ever.
Hey, Linda, don't you pay no attention to him. He thinks he's terrible grown up, don't he? You know what I call him? Short shakes. Come on.
Well, now do you believe me, Ben?
Who gave them authority to patrol my land?
That's Luther Kent's doing. He heard that every man in the flatlands is getting ready to ride up here, prepared to fight. So if they do, Kent's vigilantes will meet them in a head-on, all-out fight to the finish.
Now, look, Roy. I'm going to give every one of those families from the Low Country a piece of land right here in the Ponderosa. Once they're settled in, on land which I have given them, they can't be evicted legally, can they?
Well, you're absolutely right, but that is legally. How do you figure to get those families up here?
Well, I thought of that. There is a way of getting onto the Ponderosa without using any of the existing roads. It's a long, hard trek, mostly over burnt-out grassland, but I know the trails and I can lead them.
Ben, you can't handle this alone.
I can handle it alone, as long as I have my 3 sons.
But those vigilantes out there are your friends and neighbors.
They're my neighbors and they're my friends. But friends are no friends.
That's the last piece of pipe. And there's only a little more steel left to extend that drilling shaft.
Well, where is it?
It's in the forge. Little Joe's putting a joint on it.
All right, well, let's stop this mule.
Whoa, son.
Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Boss, give me a hand with that rigging, will you?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I want to yank the shaft up and check the auger.
How come? You ain't cutting?
Well, we've been going for quite a while. We haven't checked. I want to see if the blades are chewed up any.
On a hunky mule.
Hey, Joe, give us a hand here, will you?
All right, I'll be right with you.
As long as you couldn't make any paper dolls for me, I thought I'd make something for you. It's a pinwheel. You can play with it.
That's very, very pretty, Lindy. And look, you mind it for me till I get my work done. Then we'll both play with it, all right?
Okay.
How far down are we?
Yeah, about 100 feet, I guess.
How far down you want to go?
Well, we only got 25 feet of pipe and shaft left.
Well, there's plenty more pipe in town. I can get a wagon and go in and get it.
More pipe isn't going to do any good. You can't drill with a dry auger. There's only about a barrel of that water left.
Won't need any more pipe, just what we have. The water's down there.
All right, Mr. Ganther. We're going to keep trying.
All right, let it down.
Hey, look at that. That's mud. That thing's supposed to be dry, Adam. We struck it. That's water. That steel's supposed to have been dry. It's wet. We got water, Joe. What's the matter? We got water down there, Adam.
There's water, all right, but it's over 100 feet down.
Hey, Mr. Ganther, I thought you said that water was going to just bust out of the ground like a fountain.
It looks like this land is different from where they get artesian wells.
Hey, Paul, we found it. We found water down there. We just got to figure out some way to pump it up. It seemed like them artesian wells are...
Well, son, you must be Mr. Ganther.
Mr. Cartwright, proud to know you.
Sorry about the trouble here. It was a long chance, but it was worth the effort, House.
But, Paul, we found the water. It's down there. We got it. We just got to figure out some way to get it up. Can we put a pump on it or something?
I'm afraid not. Take an awful lot of pumping to pull it up that far. Have to pump clear around the clock just to wet the bottom of that tank.
Maybe we could hook that pump to the walking beam. The horses would pull enough to help.
They couldn't pull up enough to keep themselves alive.
Hey, wait a minute. If you hook that pump shaft to a windmill, that would pump around the clock.
Why not, Pa? Windmills have been used all over the world for hundreds of years. They've been turning every grindstone and every mill in Holland for centuries.
Well, how come we ain't never used them?
We never had any use for them here until now. But, you know, with God's help, we could bring water to this dried-out country, and maybe that would be a way of stopping people from killing each other. Now, look, this is what I think we ought to do. Young lady, would you get me a claw bar?
Yes, Mr. Cartwright.
Or something? Let's try that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I secure it up around in here and along here and back here, and I think we've got it.
Yeah, watch the angle, though. Not too much, just enough to catch some of the wind.
Yeah, all we need now is about a dozen more.
Oh, Mr. Ganther, would you pull the rear axle off that buggy? We'll put it atop the frame and tie it in with the main shaft.
Fine. Well, we're going to need a cogwheel or something.
Oh, we'll need 3, but we'll have them as soon as Hoss and Little Joe get back.
Well, I hope Hoss doesn't forget that foot valve. Told him to unhook the barn pump and pull that shaft. He was so excited, I think he was only half listening.
Oh, he'll get it. Let's hope it's the right size.
My real worry is whether or not Joe can get that main gear wheel. I know they use them down at the mines, but the question is, do they have any extra ones?
They'd better, or Joe will take the one they do have.
It's all the commotion, Mr. Kent.
We didn't know it was you, Hoss. We saw the wagon coming and decided to stop it. But it might be some people from the flatlands.
Well, that's mighty neighborly of you, Mr. Kent. If you get out of our way and let us through, I don't think I have to remind you you're on our land.
We know where we are. You'll find plenty more of us on your land. There's men blocking every road and trail from the low country. You can tell that to your father.
Oh, why don't you tell him, Mr. Lane? I'd like to see you stand up to my pa and tell him just that.
Now, we're not looking for trouble, boy. We can't let your father bring those people up here. They take over everything. You've got to admit, a man has a duty to protect his own.
Look, I'm getting tired of this talk, Mr. Kent. You either tell these men to get out in front of this wagon or I'm going to run these horses over them.
You want to send some of the men along behind him?
What for?
Well, Cartwrights might be planning something. Could be they expect to hit us in the back when the others come up the road.
There are only 4 Cartwrights. 10 times as many of us. They won't give us any trouble.
Adam? That dust cloud. Been traveling this way for the last couple of hours. Your eyes are better than mine. What's underneath it?
Riders, wagons. Another dust cloud behind that one. There's more riders and wagons.
Yeah. More guns. What's keeping those brothers of yours?
Oh, don't worry, Pa. Everything's gonna be all right.
Sure, everything's gonna be all right. Suppose they didn't get the gear wheel. Suppose they couldn't get the cogs.
Well, if they forget anything, we'll just send them back. Make another trip.
There isn't time for another trip. Those Flatlanders are already moving up to the high country. And don't tell me to take it easy.
Sorry, sir.
Just that I'm worried if they ever get into a fight with Kent, a lot of people are going to get hurt.
Now, we got it, Pa. Everything we need. We rode right through without firing a shot.
Yeah, but only because we got out of there when we did. This one here is about to start something with Mr. Kent and that fellow Lane.
Where'd you run into them?
Up on our own high road. Yeah, Kent's the leader, but that Lane's the troublemaker. One of these days, I'm gonna have a session with that man.
You stay out of his way. Come on, let's unload the gear.
What's a session?
What's a what?
A session. You said you were gonna have a session with that man.
You wouldn't understand.
Is it a fight?
I would suppose it is, Pigtails.
Nothing. I just wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Well, that's funny. I didn't think you liked me.
I don't.
Come on, get the other stuff.
All right.
You're Mr. Cartwright?
Yes, I am.
We told your neighbors we'd be coming back. We're going through this time. Going through to green grass and water.
What is your name, sir?
Bill Collins.
Mr. Collins, don't try it. You won't get through. They must have about 50 men guarding that road. And if you do try to get through, well, some of you are bound to get killed.
Maybe, but we'll do some killing, too.
Mr. Collins, it won't work. Me and Little Joe saw them. They got the woods full of men, behind every bush and rock. They got you outnumbered 2 to 1.
There are more coming, and we'll get through. The Lord didn't mean for some to have water and others to have none.
And that's true enough. He didn't mean that. And I'll tell you, there is water, and there's green grass enough for all of you, and it's yours, on one condition.
We thank you, but what do you mean by a condition?
It's yours if you let me lead you to the high country. Now, it'll be a long, hard ride over some pretty rough trails, but there won't be any men to stop you.
What happens if they try to drive us off once we get there?
Well, you'll have my boys and myself fighting on your side.
We're very grateful to you, Mr. Cartwright, but we don't want to cause trouble for you and your boys.
Well, don't let that worry you none.
Well, that's about as right as it's ever going to be. Want to try it?
Let's give it a try. Throw the lever.
Is it gonna work?
Honey, let's pray it will.
Hey, look at it, Joe. Adam, look at the rod. It's going up and down. It's working. It's pumping.
It's not pulling yet.
Come on, pull, pump. Please, pull. Please, please.
Did you prime it?
Daggone it. I forgot to prime it, Joe.
Some water left in the house. I'll get it.
Here it is.
Hey, Pigtails, how'd you happen to think of that? Come on, cup it. You're spilling some of it.
From the shed. We gotta extend that trough over to the water tank. Joe, ride out and tell Pa we found the water and get those people back here.
Right, we got enough water for everybody. Now everybody in the flatlands can build a windmill and have all the water they need.
Yeah, but wait a minute, wait a minute. I started this whole thing, and I'm going to get to tell them about the fitting.
All right, get out of here. Go. Come on, Adam, I'll buy you a drink. Oh, wow, look at it. Oh. Whoa.
We found it. We found the water, Paul. A whole ocean of it at the Ganther. All we got to do is pump it out of the ground. We'll help you fellas build your windmills.
That's wonderful, son. Wonderful. Did I hear you say there's water? Water for everybody?
That's just what you did here, Mr. Collins. And you were right. The Lord did not mean for some to have water and others to have none. You hear that, man? You're going back. You'll have all the water you'll ever need. You're going back to your own land.
How does a person say thank you for a gift as wonderful as water?
Oh, ma'am, it was really Horse's idea in the first place, and your husband's faith that kept us working at it.
We knew there was water there all the time, didn't we, Jason?
Sure did, Horace.
Sure you did, with just a little help from casings, walking beams, and pinwheels.
Here, boy. Maybe you'll have time to play with this now.
Oh, well, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, come on, boy. No playing for you. Plenty of work at home.
Yeah, come on, little buddy. We'll make you a little red wagon so you can help us.
Hole down to the water down through the earth, and when you once tap it, it'll just come busting out like a fountain or something. You ever hear of one, Paul?
No, yes, I've heard of them, but they're shallow wells. This part of the country, the water's about 100, maybe 200 feet deep. They wouldn't work around here.
Paul's right. It won't work any more than this auger is through this hard wood. Now I gotta sharpen that thing again.
Hey. Hey, wait a minute. Give me that thing a minute. Doggone it. Paul, I can do it with this. This auger will do it. You ain't got to have a big hole, just a little hole. Just big enough to let that water come busting up once you tap it. Doggone it, it'll work.
Are you loco? You can't drill a well with an auger.
Yeah, especially through 100 feet of earth.
Maybe that water ain't 100 feet down. What if it's only 40 or 50? I can do it, Adam. I can reach it with this auger.
Well, it's finally happened. The sun's fried his brain, so he doesn't make sense anymore.
Yes, I do make sense. And you'll see how much sense I make, too, once you see that water come busting up out of the ground.
Well, how are you gonna keep the sand from pouring in after you pull the auger out?
I ain't gonna pull it out. I'll just keep adding steel to the top of it until I reach that water.
Oh, sure you will. Now, it's amazing what the sun will do to a man's head.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not saying this is going to work. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea at all, but if he wants to try it, give him a chance to help. When do you expect to ride down to the Ganthers again?
First thing. Lady! Send me down a rope and a hook. Hurry! Just hang on for a minute. You may have some busted ribs there, mister. Okay, little girl. Take the end of that rope and go out there and throw a dolly over that saddle horn of mine. Jump up on the horse and make him back up for you. He'll back up real good. Hurry. Hurry. By your white ribs. Pull him all the way. about it, ma'am? Ma'am, step down.
Surely stranger step down.
Hope you have some luck with that well.
Yeah, so do I.
Ma'am, I don't want to bother you none, but I wonder if you could spare a little of that water over there for me and my old pony here. We've been riding dry since yesterday.
We're down to just a few inches now. Hardly enough left for a week. Well, less than a week. But I can't turn you away, though.
Thank you, ma'am. There's them that could. Came by several ranches this morning. They have any more water in their tanks than you got in yours. They turned me down.
Well, I'm sure they didn't want to. Please don't blame them.
I don't blame them, ma'am. I'll tell you, as long as I've been riding through this flat country, I ain't never seen it this dry. It's bad. Real bad.
Well, look, you take what you need for you and your horse. But please, be sparing.
Thank you, ma'am. We sure will.
The well is caved in. It's covering Dad. The sand's covering him.
Jason!
Hang on. Look at it. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's gonna bury you, too.
They ain't gonna bury nobody. You just hang on. He's the doggone stubbornest man I ever run into, Cole. He's gonna be out there digging in that well again before the week's out.
A lot of good men down in the flatlands. They're sure gonna have a rough time of it.
That's for sure. If they don't get water down there pretty soon, there ain't gonna be a head of livestock left. No humans, neither.
Well, this fella Ganther's only got a few head of cattle. Why don't we let him move them up on the Ponderosa, at least till the drought's over? That shouldn't be any trouble.
Afraid you're wrong. It means big trouble.
Then why's that?
Well, last time I was in town, I heard the people talking. They're worried. Really worried. I think there's going to be a mass migration from the flatlands. All those families, hundreds of them. They're going to come right up into the high country and bring all their cattle with them. What's left.
I'm only talking about one family. I don't see what trouble that is.
Ain't no use in arguing, Joe. This Mr. Ganther, he just ain't the moving type. He's gonna stay right down there on that place of his till he finds water or dies trying. Why, even when Miss Ganther's in there patching up his cracked ribs, he was trying to tell me something about an artesian well.
On a what?
An artesian well. Seemed like all you gotta do is just dig a